nothing changes, hey, make sure y'all tune in. This Saturday, we will be hosting a SummerSlam live watch-along and a Spaces simultaneously. Make sure you be there.
Tune in, man. First time you gonna ever see some shit done like this in this community, man. I'm telling you, we gonna change the game. I'm telling y'all. If you want to pop in with us, have live reactions with us during the stream, and watch SummerSlam, pop in. We're gonna be right here on Twitter, in the YouTube section as well. If y'all want to be just sitting there chilling in the chat, preferably you hop in there with us, man. Get active. We just vibe, man. Watch SummerSlam. Now, obviously, we're not gonna have actually, SummerSlam up there so y'all can see this shit for copyright purposes. Fuck around and get striked. Y'all don't want that shit. So, yeah. That being said, man, go ahead, show up. Let's just have a good time Saturday night.
Yes, sir. And once again, hey, first time. And if you see anybody out there who tries to copy this same concept, you know where they got it from.
What's that? For sure. But it just, it comes with the territory, man. I was once said that I was once told that, people are going to copy you. And that's fine. 100%. Just know we started the whole shit in the first place.
And hey,
just a couple of nobodies, you know what I'm saying?
And just, some of the people that copy you, they'll be your biggest haters. But hey, what that boy say? If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. So shit, I guess we are popping, motherfucker.
Crazy, man. Shit. Hey. But it's all good, we just a couple of nobodies.
Just a couple of randoms. Just a couple of randoms. But make sure y'all there. SummerSlam, live watch along, live spaces. What's good, everybody? The voice of the WGC back in the building.
Now I know y'all see the title of this video, you see the thumbnail, you see all that shit, and you probably like, damn, the fuck is he thinking? Don't nobody want that shit. Now, I'm gonna have to argue that this might be a very unpopular video, or an unpopular opinion, but it is what it is, because I've been seeing a lot more people lately talking about EA taking a license. And I already know y'all finna be like, oh man, they're worse than 2K. Oh, they're microtransactions. Oh, microtransactions. Oh, microtransactions. But what is 2K doing right now? Did 2K not try to make y'all pay like $400 for The Rock? Can you name me any game that has came out by EA where they tried to make you pay $400 for anything, for something so simple, especially? Because I don't recall. Now 2K, they might not do something stupid like that again, but the fact that they even did it should let you know everything. And can you name me a single EA game right now, and I mean right now, where the game is literally broken? Every aspect of the game is broken, doesn't fucking work, constantly breaking, constantly crashing. You can't play online for two shits at all, and constantly being neglected. Can you name me one title right now where that is happening with EA? You can say Madden, this, that, but I mean, at least with Madden, you can play online. At least with Madden, you can play the game in general and don't got to worry about shit constantly not working. And I'm almost 100% positive that EA can just simply produce a better wrestling game than 2K could ever do. Because if you look at what we got right now, well, what do we have? And I've said this over and over again. I'm starting to sound like a fucking broken tape recorder, man. What does 2K have to offer? Nothing. I'm seeing a lot more and more people saying that the game is it's dead. A DLC is not going to revive the game. A couple new characters, especially this latest DLC. But even before that, what are they doing? Oh yeah, we got 20 plus new moves in the game. Oh yeah, we got 5 more wrestlers to use. Like, that's not going to enhance the overall game experience. Yeah, we get to use these NXT wrestlers. Yeah, we get to use Lash Legend. Yeah, we get to use Obafemi, or however you pronounce his name. Yeah, we get to use those new wrestlers. But what is that going to do to overall enhance the game? Being able to play with new wrestlers is cool. It's great. But once you use those wrestlers, what's next? Universe mode fucking sucks. A lot of people say it sucks, and they don't give a shit about universe mode, to be honest. Once you get done with my career, what do you have to do? And my career is honestly, it's lifeless. It's soulless. It's no passion in that shit. And you can tell that they're not real fans of professional wrestling and professional wrestling games, because they don't really put the heart and soul in it. I feel like they just drag their feet and see what they can do and hope the fans are happy with it. My gym, I mean, it's cool, but I mean, just like my gym, a lot of people don't give a shit about it. Showcase is ass. It's boring as hell, and it's overly repetitive. You just constantly repeat the same objectives over and over and over again. That shit gets boring real fast. People really just play that shit just to unlock somebody, and that's it. Not because they thoroughly enjoy it. And then you got the gameplay. It's lifeless. It's soulless. No passion in it. They're lacking a lot of key elements in the gameplay. They lack immersive to really make you feel like you're in the fucking match, and you're just in a fight of your life. They lack innovation. It's very boring. It's very sluggish. It's very slow. What does 2K have to offer? Can somebody please tell me right now in the comment section, what does 2K have to offer? What makes you think that EA cannot produce a better wrestling game? Because from what I'm always seeing, every time somebody brings up EA, the only fucking argument that I get is fucking microtransactions, and that's it. That seems to be the only argument. Is there any other argument? Do you have any other talking points? Yeah, you can look at the current UFC titles. Yeah, they're pretty boring. They're pretty ass. I'm not gonna lie. The current UFC games are not that fun to play. At least in my personal opinion. But there's still a lot of people that play those games. It's constantly being updated, and they're being more talked about than any other fucking game right now than EA has. Well, nah, I might be wrong on that part, because Madden is always Madden. You know, you can't really top that shit right now. Outside of CFB, we're not gonna get into that. But even then, look at college football. That seems to be the talk of the town right now. But what does 2K have? A game that's already dead about 5 months in. Patches aren't doing anything to the game. The patches are not doing shit. We're not getting the patches that we really want. We're just about halfway through with 2K24, and the game has been an utter fucking failure. And 2K seems to not give two shits. And everything they do is fucking broken. The latest patch we got, it was fucking broken. Yeah, they fixed it, but damn, the fact that it even happened is just crazy. 2K can't get anything right. So yeah, I personally want EA to take over. And in my honest opinion, who else is going to take over? I mean, yeah, we can get fucking Ukes back and shit, but what are the odds of that happening? Logically speaking, who is going to take over this license? Who's going to be the next up? You know, UFC and WWE are basically a partnership now. And who makes these UFC games? EA. So who do you really think is possibly, logically speaking, next in line when it's time for 2K to fucking hit, you know what I'm saying, kick rocks? I personally want to see it. You know, I mean, I like Rockstar to maybe take over or some other, but who else do you likely see taking over? I personally think EA can make a much better more combat-based game than 2K. I feel like EA has the capabilities of making a wrestling game actually feel like a fucking wrestling game. You got any takes on this shit?
You know, just looking at the WWE games franchise from what we had when we were in our youth, you know, what we had when we were jits and what we have now. the constant downward spiral of these games. They get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse every single year. Like he just said, the patches do absolutely nothing. The gameplay is lifeless. Yeah, there may be a few individuals who have fun with this game, but just because, you know, a select few are having fun, you know, if you really talk to these individuals, most of these individuals have nothing to bring to the table. Nothing of significance. You ask them, why do they like 2K so much? They say community creations. You say, what else? Oh, universe mode. You say, what else? They say graphics. And I just find that absolutely hilarious, because when you get into the actual gameplay, what's supposed to be the most critical, the most pivotal piece to the game, what shapes the game and holds it together the most, the gameplay. When you start to argue about gameplay and you start to really have a conversation, they have nothing to say. You know, let's talk about a few things that we had back in the day. Free roaming. Remember when they first talked about reintroducing free roaming? I forgot what 2K there was. I had to do a little bit of research, but I remember it like it was yesterday. When we had nothing, and then you were able to start going backstage again. And it was very limited. And it's still, to be honest, very limited. I mean, you can go what? You can go from this area of the backstage to this area of the backstage, left to right. But what about me actually opening a whole new door? Like, here comes the pain, and I can go in the street. What about me opening a whole new door, and I can, you know, go into the other part of the parking lot? You feel what I'm saying? What about me being able to take control of a vehicle, because there's an ambulance and there's a bunch of vehicles backstage, but we can't use any of them? There's a lot of things you can do with this game. What about exploring more of the arena? I mean, we just saw, you know, we have the rivalry or the feud currently between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. We just saw Liv Morgan climb her ass all the way up to the top of the arena, to the 200 section, 300 section, whatever you want to call it. Why can't we do that in the 2K games? You talk so much about simulation. You talk so much about innovation. I mean, even back in the day, when were we able to go that high when it comes to fighting in the crowd? We've only been limited to fighting into the lower base of the crowd. When were we able to battle it out all the way to the top of the arena and explore all of the arena? When are we gonna able in 2K games? Hey, let's do a callback to the old days when Sting used to be on the rafters. Why can't we go up to the rafters? Throw somebody off, you know? Simple things like that. What about the core gameplay when it comes to, you know, the grappling itself? Why does B have to initiate everything? You press B and then you have to do 3 other fucking moves just to do one simple suplex. And then you gotta press X, Y, X, Y, B, X to do a simple ass strike. This game is more and more and more of a fighting game than it is a wrestling game. We don't have all these wrestling things like rest holds, like transitions. What happened to these things? Oh, you can get on the announcer table again, but what can you actually do on the announcer table? Because back in the day, when you got in on the announcer table, you were able to, you know, walk how you want to walk, do whatever move you want to off the announcer table and onto the announcer table. Hey, let's talk about the weapons. Can you even stack tables anymore? Back in the day, I mean, you had to do a little workaround, but you were able to stack what? A table on top of a table, on top of a table, on top of another table, on top of another table, on top of another table, 6 stackable tables? Name me a 2K game you can do that in. Or what about environmental interactions? You see wrestlers interact with the crowd all the time. Let's say a heel walks by, he sees a sign he does not like. He looks at the sign, the fans, you know, chomping at him. I don't like you, I hate you, you're gonna lose, blah, 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 blah. He looks at him, he maybe shoots a bird at him, he says, oh, shut up, you wuss, whatever. He grabs a sign and he rips it to shreds and he laughs at the fans. Why can't you grab signs out of the crowd? Why can't you grab weapons out of the crowd anymore, huh? What about directional grapples, directional moves? What happened to those? When you hit a move, you're only able to do that move in a certain direction. What if I wanted to direct my suplex to the announcer table so my opponent can go through the announcer table when I hit him with a German suplex? Why can't I do that? What if I want to hit a jackhammer to my opponent onto the steel steps? Why can't I do that? What if I want to hit a power bomb onto the trash can? Why can't I do that? What if I want to hit a tombstone power driver to my opponent directly on the chair? Why can't I do that? What about the story mode? What about the story mode? We call it My Rise? I mean, whatever you want to call it. Story mode, My Rise, career mode, whatever you want to call it. I mean, looking at the story mode, yeah. I mean, appreciate the idea, I appreciate the concept, but it feels more like somebody from Disney decided to take the fantasy mythical route instead of actually thinking about it from a wrestling standpoint. Okay? Like, what are we doing here? And then why do, you know, the characters or the main character, whatever you want to call them, why do they feel so dull, so dry, so lifeless? You know, when they get a chance to speak. Let's say somebody tries to get into their head, somebody's trying to play mind games with them. Their response, oh yeah, I'll show you. I'm gonna beat you at the Royal Rumble and I'm gonna get my championship opportunity. You know, where's the bass in his voice, bro? Where's, you know, the fury? Where is the charisma? Where is it at? You know, why don't we have 4 different options to choose from instead of just 2 different options? What if I just want to go batshit crazy and I just want to attack my opponent before the match? And let's say that, you know, brings me some consequences. What if just because I did that, I can no longer compete in the match? And that makes my road to a championship even harder. What about that? What about real-time injuries? What if somebody attacks me before WrestleMania? And I don't have that opportunity anymore. Or what if I have a third option to where, although I do get attacked, I can choose to go out there still and compete in the match? Let's say he's my replacement. I can still go out there and compete, but I'm going out there all wrapped up, bandaged up, and you know, I go in there with a very limited health bar like this. What about that? What if I get multiple options that can really change the trajectory of not only the match, but my entire career? What if one of my options can get me not only removed from the championship match, but also removed from the WWE and get me sent back to the Indies? What about that? What about that? There's so many things that you can do with this game mode. So many things. Showcase mode, it's the same thing every single year, bruh. Oh, get your opponent's health to critical. Oh, throw your opponent to the northeast turnbuckle. Oh, perform a diving move off the turnbuckle. Make sure to hit him with not 1, but 2 finishers. It's the same thing every single year. Me personally, I don't care and I can do without it. I'm just keeping it real. And me personally, when it comes to universe mode and GM mode, in all honesty, if you're gonna try, because basically, let's keep it a stat. They're basically trying to make the same game mode, but have 2 versions of the same game mode. They both have the same exact concept. You're trying to have full control over a company. You're basically living out your dream as a booker. That's basically the whole idea of both of these game modes. Are they not? Is it not? So where I'm getting at is WWE. I mean, 2K games. Why don't you just combine both of these game modes? Make it easier. Make it easy on yourselves. Or better yet, why don't you just get rid of my GM or get rid of universe mode, whichever one, and put your all into one of these game modes? What about that?
Oh, don't say get rid of universe mode. A lot of people are not gonna like that comment. They're not gonna like that.
Whichever one. Hey, fuck it. Universe mode, GM mode, whatever. Get rid of GM mode, whatever. But what I say is, I think you should combine them both, and most importantly, give the option to make them both online, because we got all these leagues everywhere around the community. But what if these leagues could be online? What if, you know, there was a match set up and I had the ability to invade one of my friends' matches, and I inserted myself into this championship match? What if? There's a lot of things you can do with this game. Hey, what about the main menu itself? The main menu itself. I mean, It's basically the same exact main menu, is it not? It's the same exact main menu.
Oh yeah, it's literally the most copy and paste main menu that I've ever seen. Literally, like, it's the exact same. Like, they put no effort into nothing. Something so simple as a main menu didn't even get an update. That alone tells you how they feel about this shit. That alone tells you they don't fucking care. No, it's not a big difference. It's not a game changer. It's not gonna make the game, you know what I'm saying? But you could at least try and not make the game feel like the previous year. Especially if you're going to be charging full price $60, $70, $80, $120. Make me feel like I'm not playing 2K23. And for the game itself, if you're not going to let Xbox One players play with the Xbox Series players and PS4 players play with PS5 players, if you're going to completely just separate the entire thing, if you're going to do that, at least make this shit crossplay or something. Or simply, unpopular opinion, stop supporting the fucking consoles. And yeah, and y'all might think, well, everybody can't get that. Everybody can't. Hey, man. Yeah, it's real out. It is real out here. But there was a time period to where if you didn't have an Xbox One, your ass was stuck on a 360. And you had to move on with the times. It's that time again. I'm sorry, man. Things change, bro. You think everybody had money to get an Xbox One and a PS4 when they stopped supporting Xbox 360 consoles? No. But guess what? We moved the fuck on, and we did what we had to do and moved on with the times. So it's time for that. It's time for y'all to move on again. It's time to let that shit go. Do what you gotta do by any means and upgrade to a new console. There's plenty of ways to do it, so you know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do, man. If it takes longer, hey, man, it is what it is, but all this separating in console shit, Xbox One players can't play with Series players, PS4 players can't play with PS5 players, it's honestly fucking stupid. It's the same shit. Make that shit crossplay. And strictly support PS5 and the series. Because before you know it, we're moving on to the fucking, you know what I'm saying, the next Xbox edition. And the PS6 is going to be out here before y'all know it. And then what? PS5 players can't play with PS6 players? Xbox Series players can't play with the next version of the Xbox? Or are we going to go ahead and start, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and start supporting strictly these new generation consoles? And that also ties into what he said before. We need an online needs to be prioritized. It needs to be all this. And it's funny hearing everybody say, oh, who plays online, who plays. I guarantee you right now, if 2K actually incorporated crossplay and they actually started fixing these servers, because they don't understand, the game itself is dead. They lack a shit ton of content. They have nothing to offer. If you support strictly these next generation consoles, and if you don't separate introduce crossplay and stop separating the consoles from one another. If you have Xbox One, you should be able to play with Series players and people along the PlayStation side. Just let everything come together and incorporate an online universe mode, or fucking My Ring, whatever you want to call that shit, and let players be able to just have this one massive universe where you can go into other people's worlds and be in their cards, having rivalries and all that good shit for wrestling. Players from both sides of fucking Xbox and PlayStation, PC, whatever you got, let everybody fucking clash. I guarantee you, if you do that, online will be massive. And all you people that say, oh, who cares about online? If they introduce that, I guarantee you, y'all will be playing online, because the game has nothing else to offer. That will increase the longevity. The games can last year round instead of it dying out in fucking 1 month or less. The game will last. That will increase the shelf life. It'll keep people constantly playing, constantly going into other people's universes, having online leagues, having online championships, online tournaments, all that shit. Online needs to be prioritized. It needs to be important because it's important for the NBA side. It's important for football. It's important for all that shit. UFC, everybody plays online. Nobody plays those games offline like that. When it comes to any sports, any sports titles, and let's be real, they consider pro wrestling a sports. It is a competitive thing. Online needs to be competitive. If there was an online universe mode and online actually worked, not to mention you need to fix your online. And that's why I feel like 2K needs to get the fuck out of here. The whole concept of this video is why 2K needs to get the kick rocks. We need a new developer, preferably for me right now, out of what we're looking at. I say EA. I feel like EA would make something like that happen or something close to happening that's like that. 2K isn't going to do it. They don't give a shit. You get the right people in EA, people that actually care about wrestling, and I promise you would see something like that. I don't give a fuck about the fucking microtransactions. I don't care about none of that shit. If I gotta spend $5, $10 to get a couple of wrestlers, I'll do it as long as your game is functioning. If I can play online without a problem. Now, don't get me wrong. Every game online has its problems every once in a while. You have your occasional lag. You might have an occasional disconnect every once in a while, but that's normal. But for it to happen consistently, nonstop, you can't even play the fucking game. And you feel like you just wasted your money because you just can't play the game. That shit is a slap in the face. And for you to just constantly not take care of your game, you constantly just neglect all the patches that we need for the game to keep that shit going, and to lack a shit ton of content but want to constantly press for everybody's pockets, that shit is a slap in the face. I wouldn't want to spend money on 2K because they don't care to fix their game. Why would I want to spend money on this game when I can't even enjoy it because the game is overly broken? If EA had the license and their game actually fucking worked and was functionable and I could play online as much as I want, whenever the fuck I want, because I promise you the online will be a lot more bigger and we'll have 10 times the players for online if online was actually fucking working. If we had dedicated servers and we didn't have these problems, there will be a lot more people online. And if you include crossplay with that shit to go with it and stop separating the servers, the online will be massive. 2K doesn't give a shit though. We need people that fucking care. Not saying EA will care, but I guarantee you EA will put out a much better game, and I'd be more willing to spend money on a game that's constantly being updated. Look at UFC 5. These dudes are constantly updating the rosters. Yeah, it's not a yearly release, but I guarantee you, even if it was a yearly release, I guarantee you they're still going to be updating that game.
This shit, like...
They actually update their shit, man. 2K doesn't update shit. They don't care. They constantly push out My Faction nonstop. Every day. As soon as you get on 2K, first thing you see, My Faction. You go on Twitter. You go on 2K's webpage to see if they said anything new. What do you see? My Faction. Constantly pushing out My Faction. Makes it extremely difficult to get things you want on My Faction, which is persona cards to get new attires and shit. They make it they make it to where you damn near have no other options but to invest real money into that shit. But yet they don't want to fix their fucking game and leave it broken. If I wanted to grind and get the shield Seth Rollins from fucking My Faction so I can use him online, I can't. Because I would have to spend thousands of hours of playing My Faction just to try to get him, or I have to try to go buy him just to go online to not be able to play online. It's a slap in the face. It's time for 2K to get the fuck out of here. We need some new developers, and like I said, I'm pushing for EA. Y'all cry about microtransactions, but trust me, if the game is actually worth it, I'm fine with spending a couple of dollars, as long as it's not like 2K trying to make you spend $40 on some stupid shit, $40 just to get a fucking man bun or some stupid shit like that. If I had to spend $40 and I got like fucking 10, 15 new wrestlers, 100 plus moves, I'd be a bit more open to that. Granted, it is still outrageous, but if I could spend $40 and I got hella more wrestlers and a shit ton of new moves to go with it, maybe some, you know what I'm saying, more abilities for matches, and the game actually functions and I can go online and use all of it and have a good time and no lag, no delay, no latency for real. Hey man, I'm open to it. 2K, they just gonna leave y'all in the dark, bro, and have y'all suffer. He make y'all look like fucking idiots. They literally laughed at y'all recently. They laughed at y'all the other week. And I really hope that open y'all's eyes up, bro. I'm telling you, man. 2K25 comes out. Y'all don't buy that shit. Don't pre-order the game and don't buy it. Boycott that shit. Every video they put out, every video that 2K drops when they start to promote 2K25, I want to see, oh, I'm not buying this shit. I don't give a fuck. I want to see that in the comment sections. Or simply don't even click on the video. And if you do click on it and tell them you ain't buying that shit, you don't care. And when the game drops, don't do it. Let 2K realize that they fucked up. That's the only way we got. That is the only way we're gonna get any real change, man. We're not gonna get no real change if y'all gonna keep turning around buying these games. You know we're gonna get the same exact game next year with a couple of minor updates. Gameplay's gonna feel the same. Probably gonna have the same fucking main menu. Probably gonna have the same fucking HUD. Everything's gonna be the same. And it's gonna be my faction all day long. I personally want to see EA take a jab at the game. Hopefully we get that soon. Unpopular opinion, but that's my opinion. And I'm starting to see more people be open to that idea. But let's get it.
Like, I'm just looking at some other stuff too. It's like, its main menu is so fucking laughless. You look at the news section, it's nothing but my faction. I mean, like, next makers, do y'all ever think for a second, what if I could be on the main menu? Has that ever crossed your mind? What about y'all modders? What about y'all creators? Have y'all ever thought about that for a second? When was the last time, even one time, where they showcase what's the status or any one of these creators and put them on the main menu and be like, check out their creations, new creation by what's the status? But no, they spend more time trying to get these individuals out the way. The individuals that are literally the main reason why anybody even wants to play these games. They spend more time trying to exterminate these individuals than showcasing them. Make it make sense. Let's look at the jukebox. Let's look at the jukebox, shall we? Look at the jukebox. Now there's going to be some people out there to be like, oh, what are you talking about? This is the best that it's been in years. Of course, there's going to be some people that have that opinion, but if you compare this to the old SmackDown vs. Raw soundtracks and you think this is better, you're delusional. You're completely out of your mind. I'm not singing along to these damn songs, besides maybe Busta Rhymes. Maybe the Busta Rhymes track. That's the main one, but all in all, I'm not singing along to this shit. Back in the day, I must confess that I feel like a monster. Big train rolling down the line. Makes me worry. I got a bullet with. I was just over and over again singing these songs back to back to back. Sometimes I would be in the main menu not even wanting to play the match because I was so mesmerized by the goddamn soundtrack. We don't have that anymore. The first thing I do, obviously you can't hear it right now, and obviously the bubbles, you see what I mean. But the first thing I do with these 2K games is I may give it one listen, and then after that I mute it. The only time I'm ever hearing the soundtrack after that is the couple of seconds I hear it when the game first starts up. But other than that, I'm not hearing it. What I do for the most part is I go to the entrance tracks and I play the WWE theme songs, and that's pretty pathetic. You mean to tell me there's nobody in that building? There's no music heads in that building that can look around, scout around, even if it's new artists, whether it's new artists or old rock artists. There's not one person in that building that can scout around and get some new sound into these games. What the fuck? Nobody. This is a wrestling game. And you want me to log into a wrestling game, listen to some goddamn body yaddy 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 yaddy. What? What does that have to do with WWE games, bro? I don't think you understand what soundtracks match the game. Because if you look at NBA 2K, I mean, yeah, there's some songs that don't belong there, but for the most part, the NBA 2K soundtracks, they give you a basketball feel. They put you in a basketball mood. They make you want to hoop. These songs do not make you want to get active in a ring. They don't. Like, what are we doing here, bro? What are we doing here, 2K? And like I said, you may be like, oh, it's such a minor detail. Oh, that doesn't mean anything. Come on, bro. It's a soundtrack. It may be a minor detail, but at the end of the day, it still means a lot to some people. Oh, let's go ahead and talk about the Performance Center. I mean, yeah, you can go ahead and learn the game, whatever, but what happened to having the performance center before getting into a match? What happened to that? What happened to that? Also, it would actually be cool if we could have an interactive multiplayer performance center. What about that? But y'all don't think that way. What if you could set a 15-minute, a 20-minute, a 30-minute timer with one of your boys, and you could battle it out. You throw a strike, you get the accurate response timing. Oh, you were too late with this strike, try again. Oh, you were too early with this strike, try again. It's giving you all this feedback. Make sure, telling you what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. An interactive multiplayer performance center would be absolutely amazing, but y'all don't think that way. Another missed opportunity by 2K. Weapons. I mean, you look at AEW Fight Forever. So many more weapons. So many more weapons. You can say what you want about the game. Yeah, it didn't turn out how we want it to turn out, but there's a lot of things they did right. And one thing they did right was the weapon variety. So many more weapons. So much better weapons. People are raving right now about a football. Oh, they're Pat McAfee DLC. You can kick a football. Guess what, dumbass? They had a football in AEW Fight Forever at launch. That wasn't patched in. That didn't have to be imported via DLC. That was at launch. They had a football. And that was shown in a trailer ages before the game even came out. So what are you really getting hyped for? Huh? What are you really getting hyped for? I'm just saying, bro. What about the match creator? What about the match creator? The last time we had a legit match creator was 2K14. I mean, yeah. You got a little bit of things you can do. You got a little bit of things you can do with the match creator this year, but I mean, it's still not a real match creator. Go look at, for those of y'all who still have 2K14, go to 2K14's match creator and then come back to this and tell me which match creator is better, because this is not a real match creator, bro. It's not at all. And I think that you should let us be able to edit matches from the lobby screen, not just offline, but from the lobby screen. Let us get back to doing that. What happened to that? Why do we have to go all the way to a whole separate screen and make a certain match just to play that match online? And we can't even do simple things like select sides. We can't even do simple things online like select which side we want to be on. There's a lot of match types missing too. I mean, we don't even have a simple match like a 3v3 chamber. So many things you could do. You could have innovated the ambulance match and the coffin match, the casket match way more. I said it plenty of times. What if in the ambulance match they had a whole stretcher you had to pull out and you had to strap in your opponent onto the stretcher and force them into the ambulance? What if they had all types of medical supplies you could use? What if you could actually drive the ambulance? What about that? So many other things you could do with that. I'm just saying, my faction, what they're focused on right now. I mean, you log in, it's pretty much, they got a couple of things on here. They got a rank mode. We don't have that. They got live events on. We don't have that either. They got locker codes. But I'm specifically talking about the things that we can grab from this game mode and be able to take to another game mode. Because when we first heard of Persona cards, the thought that we had was we were able to, do a little bit of steps and get that Persona card and play online. But it turns out that you want us to spend $300, $400, who knows how many dollars to get that specific card and play it online. Here's a little bit of a solution, EA. How about you go back to the 2K19 VC method? Everything that we do in this game gets us VC, whether it's the performance center, whether it's playing online, whether it's playing offline. Everything we do gets us VC, and the longer, the better our matches are, the more move variety, whatever, the more taunts, whatever, it lets us acquire more VC. And let us be able to go over here to the store, to the card market, and let us be able to purchase the cards and take those cards outside of my faction. Because literally, we've played tons of online matches, and do you recall getting any type of VC from that shit? I don't recall, compared to 2K19, where I probably have like 700k, if not 1 million in VC. You were getting VC for everything. What happened to that?
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. It was easy to get VC on 19. I remember, like, I think I had almost 200,000 fucking points. It's just worth of VC. You know, I could take that off. I could take that into my faction and get hella shit. But 2K designed it, you know, they designed it to make it extremely hard to get VC, and you have to grind endless amounts of matches. In my faction, a mode that nobody gave a shit about, that nobody wants, they literally make it to where, like I said, it's all done by design. They make it to where it'll make you not want to have to grind through my faction, and they'll make you, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna go buy this little VC pack and get some VC, so that way they can get their money. There's a reason why it's extremely hard to get VC. And then they put people like Roman Reigns at like damn near 100,000 worth of VC to get him, or to get a certain attire or whatever from Roman Reigns. And they boost it up extremely high because they know people are not going to want to spend that much time grinding, so they'll just go ahead and spend their actual money to get it. My faction is literally just another way for 2K to get their money off of y'all. Y'all need to understand. A lot of y'all need to understand that. And you think EA is going to be worse. It's not going to be worse. Right now, 2K is honestly worse. They literally make you have no option but to fucking do that shit. And then they try to price you out $40, $40 to get whatever, to get who, to get what? $40 to get a tracksuit? Like, no, like this, that shit ain't it, man. You could at least make it a bit more appealing. You could at least have payback. You could include paybacks. You could put brand new paybacks into my faction, and then you gotta grind or whatever to get that payback. But then it's almost like pay to win. Imagine having a payback that nobody else has in the game, or rarely anyone has, but you spent money so you can get that payback. Then, I mean, at that point, you're just becoming mad. And so, I mean, it's really just a lose-lose. That's why I prefer EA. Have you ever seen EA make you spend $40 to goddamn get what? $100? I mean, they do shit like that when it comes to Madden. I'm not even gonna lie. That Ultimate Team shit, they're not innocent. But when it comes to wrestling games, I just don't see it getting much worse than what it already is. And at least with the wrestling game, you'll get a wrestling game that actually fucking functions. That'll actually get actual updates. And people will more than likely get an actual pro wrestling video game, more combat based, you know what I'm saying, more wrestling, not all this Street Fighter bullshit that they included into that they basically incorporated into their game. Right now, 2K, they're lacking hard. They lacking content. The DLC is ass. They don't offer anything new. I don't give a fuck to get a DLC. I don't give a fuck to play with more wrestlers if your game fucking sucks. You just add it with, but what about your fucking game? Like I mentioned earlier. What about your game? They could release a DLC tomorrow. That includes 50 new wrestlers tomorrow. I wouldn't give a damn, because guess what? I'm still going to play the same fucking game. Adding a couple more wrestlers is not going to improve your wrestling game overall. It's not going to improve anything. We still got the same boring as my faction. We still got the same boring as my career, my rise. Every aspect of this game is fucking garbage. I'm sorry. You try to sit there and be like, oh, you just don't like 2K, oh, you just don't buy it. Nah, the game fucking sucks. And a lot of people are starting to feel that way. They don't give a shit. All they do is promote my faction to get money off of us, and then do the same thing all over again next year with a massive neglect on patches, not even fixing the game. Why are people's wrestlers still bald? Like, what's going on with that? Why is that shit not even handled? What is the likelihood of us getting a patch anytime soon before the next DLC drops, where they actually go and fix everything? This is the worst wrestling game that we've gotten from 2K since 2K20. That's just what it is. That's just facts. Look at what's happened. Look at the neglect. Look how broken online has been, which hasn't been fixed yet. Look how broken everything else is. People fucking losing data. People getting their wrestlers and shit basically erased. People, the thousands of people they've downloaded off community creations are bald. Like, and 2K isn't doing anything about it. Then you're gonna string into 2K25, and they might fix some of those issues, but now there's gonna be a whole new slew of problems, and it's probably not gonna get handled. But you know what they are gonna be doing? They're going to be pushing out that My Faction content. But they're not going to be actually fixing their games and the problems. They're not going to be trying to fix these servers, but they are going to push out. They are going to push out some more My Faction shit, so you can go spend some more hard-earned money. They're going to constantly push out My Faction. They're going to constantly push out all this bullshit on My Faction that you're more than likely going to have to fucking spend actual money to get. But yet, while they're not actually updating their game, not fixing their game, not getting us actual updates, giving us shit that we actually want, and lacking hella depth, lacking in the gameplay department, lacking in the fucking immersiveness, lacking in every fucking level. But hey, bro, go to EA. But EA is so much worse though, right? Is EA constantly pushing out bullshit every year for UFC to where you have to go buy some bullshit all the time, but they don't update their game. They don't give us actual updates. They don't actually fucking. You can actually play online. Do you see UFC 5 to where you can't even play online at all, but they're constantly pushing out some bullshit for you to go purchase? Do you see that happening over there? Do you see UFC 5 constantly pushing out just bullshit for you to go buy, but they don't fix their fucking game overall? Imagine playing online in UFC 5 or offline, and you clearly got a knockout or you clearly got a tap out, but it didn't register, and then you just constantly just disconnected and crashed to the main menu, and they just never fix it. But then hey man, spend $30 and you can play with the newest version of Alex Pereira. Do you see that shit happening over there? Are they making you spend $30 just to play with the newest trunks that Pereira walked out in? Hey man, spend $40 to play with the updated Izzy from 2024. But we're not gonna fix anything else though. Do you see that shit happening over there? I'm tired of hearing all this. Oh man, EA, bro, they're gonna be microtransaction heavy. They're gonna be worse. Nah, they're not gonna be worse than 2K. At least EA actually fixed their game. At least they actually update. They constantly update their games. They fix that shit, and they have a functionable online. And they're not shoving bullshit in your face 24/7, wanting you to go buy this, wanting you to go buy that, but not fixing everything else. But y'all think EA is gonna be worse? Come on, man. Be smart. Open your fucking eyes, bro. But hey man, let 2K drain y'all out though. Let 2K milk y'all to death. That's fine.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say this last thing before we head out. Like this goes hand in hand with what he was just talking about. For those of y'all who talk so much about EA's monopoly, EA's monetization, whatever, I want you to really look at what you're seeing on your screen right now. Every single time there's a pay-per-view, sometimes they do it for the normal cards too, but for the main point is they mainly do it for the pay-per-views. You know, next one coming up is UFC 305, so there'll be another one. So basically it's called Fight Week Challenges. What you have to do is you have to complete a few objectives and you get a reward. So for UFC 303 Fight Week Challenge, you had to win 10 fights, land 5 takedowns, land 60 body punches, block 12 strikes in a row, win 2 fights in a row by knockout. And this is what you get. You get some trunks, you get a taunt, you get Hall of Fame Wanderlei Silva, you get Hall of Fame, hey, my girl, shout out to Joanna Jędrzejczyk, love you. But anyways, that's neither here or there. But you get some more trunks for her, and you get a UFC 303 patch or UFC 303. I think this is a gamer pick, a gamer icon, or a gamer emblem, whatever. You get all of this from a challenge. Now, when's the last time that 2K has done anything like this? Because they do things like this, but it's strictly from My Faction. You cannot take these things nowhere out of My Faction. If you get these things, it's strictly in My Faction. But if it's not a Persona card, with this, it's not only in UFC 5 Ultimate mode or whatever you call it. You can use the Hall of Fame Wanderlei Silva or the Hall of Fame Joanna Jędrzejczyk anywhere you please. And you don't think things like this would be cool for wrestling games? Y'all don't think. But let's move on. What is this right here? This is called community voting, something that I pitched to 2K years ago. What you can do with this, because I see all of y'all, add this person to the game, add this person to the game, add this person to the game. What EA is doing is they're listening out, They're seeing what the community wants, what the community has been asking for. And they compile them into a vote. And they give you 4 options. You get 2018 UFC 227 TJ Dillashaw, UFC 162 Cub Swanson 2013, UFC 98 2009 Lyoto Machida, UFC Fight Night 2015 Rafael Dos Anjos. And you get to vote for it. They're not adding what they want to add. You get to vote for it. The community gets to vote for it. When was the last time we've had anything like this for 2K? Y'all like to sit here and say that EA this, EA, but there's a lot of things that EA does right that 2K has never even took the time to think of, not even once. Like I said, I understand EA can be greedy, 100%. I 100% agree with that. They can be greedy. Like I said, I'm willing to admit I used to be an Ultimate Team addict, and that's why I try to warn y'all about these game modes so much, because I was there for way too long. But I'm happy. I'm actually ecstatic that I'm out of that shit. Okay? But I was once there. I know how greedy EA can be, and 2K can be greedy too. But there's a lot of things that EA is doing right that 2K doesn't do, and this is one of them. And like, man, we've had 2K for so long. 2K15, 2K16, 2K17, 2K18, 2K19, 2K20, 2K Battlegrounds, 2K22, 2K23, and now 2K24. That's 10 years of lackluster, 10 years of mid, 10 years of terrible WWE games. Outside of 2K19, it was tolerable, but it's still not a classic. 10 years of mid. 10 years of mid. And you mean to tell me you want 10 more years? You're not even willing to give EA a chance? I don't know about y'all, but I'm willing to at least bite the bullet for maybe 3 years. Maybe 3 years. I'll give EA 3 years. We just gave 2K 10 years and we got nothing out of it. We gave 2K 10 years and got nothing out of it. But you're not willing to give EA 3 years. The math is not math in here. Like, what are y'all really talking about? You gave 2K 10 years, we got nothing out of it, but you're not willing to give EA 3 years. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I'm really trying to understand what are we talking about here, WGC? Oh man. Crazy. And last but not least, if you look at, I know, EA, they have had their sloppy ass games too, because I look at the Need for Speed franchise and how beloved it was back in the day and how it is now, because I used to love Need for Speed. I don't like that shit anymore, but it used to be so good back in the day. But I'm going to look at it from a positive note. Look at the way the single player Star Wars games are. Have y'all seen those games? Have y'all played those games? Have y'all? Because I remember it like it was yesterday. Everybody was going ballistic. Oh, there's no way they're going to be able to make Star Wars games. There's no way they're going to do this. There's no way they're going to do this. I don't want their filthy hands all over this. But guess how it turned out? Star Wars Jedi The Fallen Order. It turned out to be an amazing game. That proves that they know they are capable of making great games. They have it in them. So like he said, if you get some passionate individuals that absolutely love pro wrestling, they live and breathe this shit. This shit is in their blood, in their DNA. I guarantee you, we would get one of the best WWE games ever from EA. Minus, don't even think about the WWE Ultimate Team. I'm talking about outside of that. Outside of that, we would be getting one of the best WWE games ever. I guarantee it.
Y'all gotta stop being so closed-minded, man. You need to be real. You need to be a lot more open minded. Because, like I said, man, if you're gonna really sit there and tell me that you are happy and you've been happy with 2K for the last 10 years, you gotta be lying to yourself. I refuse to believe anybody that plays these games, who've been playing these 2K games for the last 10 years, is fine and content with 2K running it off of this shit. This shit is ass. It's been far too long that we've had the same bullshit, all these wrestling games with no passion. 2K15, that shit was ass. That was one of the worst wrestling games you've ever gotten from 2K. And then you go to 16 all the way through 19 was the same fucking game. We gave 2K15, we spared them a 2K15 because, you know, that was their first year with the actual game. It was terrible, absolutely terrible, but it was their first year, so we spared them. But going into 2K16, 2K17, 2K18, there was no more excuses for these individuals. The game was lackluster. It was ass. We got the same shit every year. 2K19, honestly, the game was boring. Like, don't get me, it was boring. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, I still complained back then because the game felt lifeless. It was just a bit more. The pace was just a little bit more faster, but it was still slow. It was still sluggish. They were stiff as hell. And they lacked a lot of content. They lacked a lot of depth. They lacked a lot of innovation and immersiveness. But it was just their most tolerable game. It was not, and it's not a classic. It was just the most tolerable. Like you said, 2K doesn't have any classics. And if you call 2K19 a classic, then that's just very low standards, and it just shows you how terrible 2K has been. It's the same shit every year with 2K, nothing different. And now it's even worse because now they put all their fucking time and energy into my faction, wanting you to spend a bullshit amount of money for such little reward. Like I said, do you see EA making you spend $50, bro, just to play with the most updated version of Alex Pereira for whoever knows him? Do you see EA making you spend $60 just to play with 2016 Conor McGregor? Do you see that shit? Because I don't think you do. But y'all really think EA is worse than 2K with microtransactions? Fuck no. 2K is worse. In my opinion, they're a lot worse because you don't see that type of bullshit when it comes to their UFC games. Yeah, they have other games like Madden, but like, I'm talking about UFC here. Their actual combat sport game. Wrestling is a combat sport. They don't do that shit. Who else is gonna take that license? Rockstar? I love to see Rockstar, but I just doubt it happening. We had a chance to make it happen, but it didn't happen way back then. I don't see it happening. I don't see it ever happening. I think it's gonna be next. I feel like it's gonna be EA. Because they are literally partnered with the UFC. So you really don't think that EA is next in line? I'll be shocked if they're not next. And outside of that, the only other option is to just make the game just to fucking remove the exclusiveness and have an open license. So it's either EA or an open license for all fucking companies to be able to produce wrestling games. That's it. It's either EA or it's an open license. That's literally the only fucking two options y'all have left. Y'all saying EA is worse? Nah. If we're looking at the combat sports, and you look at UFC 3, UFC 2, the first UFC, UFC 4, UFC 5, 2K is a lot fucking worse. My faction in 3 fucking years has literally been worse than anything EA has put out when it comes to their UFC games in regards to microtransactions. But y'all really want to sit here and tell me that EA is going to be worse? Nah, you got it all wrong. I'm trying to tell y'all. Open your mind and look at the possibilities that we have with EA running this shit. They're not the best company in the world, but without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, the EA is going to produce a better wrestling game. You gotta open your mind, man. You can disagree. You can disagree all day long with this video. But if you watch this entire video from beginning to end, and everything we fucking touched on, everything we covered in regards to 2K and EA, the pros and cons, what separates EA from 2K, and if you really sit there and you look at all that shit and tell me that we're wrong, and tell me that we're fucking delusional, and you think 2K is doing what they're supposed to be doing, you gotta be fucking stupid. Or you're just a 2K shield, bro, and you will eat anything 2K gives you and get in your fucking hands and knees and worship these people. If the neglect we got for this game wasn't enough to tell you that it's time for EA to go, the game has been out almost 6 months and it's been completely broken and unplayable and just unenjoyable and dead in record timing. If that shit is a green flag for you and think this shit is good to go, man, I don't know, but you gotta get your brain checked. I feel like it's either, but yeah, just to wrap this shit up, man. It's either EA. Obviously, if I had to choose between EA or an open license, I'm getting an open license because that opens up a world of opportunities. So yeah, either an open license for everybody to fucking produce wrestling games, but if we ain't getting that, hey man, EA is next up. 2K, your clock is ticking for 2K, and if y'all want to really see that happen a lot sooner, and not let 2K run off with this shit for the next 10 fucking years of these mediocre ass wrestling games, I suggest y'all stop supporting them. I suggest y'all stop buying 2K24. Give them a dog shit rating. Do not buy that game. Do not buy the DLCs. Do not pre-order that shit. If you want 2K to go, stop supporting them. That's the only way we're gonna get real change. Hashtag do not buy 2K25. Hashtag do not pre-order WWE 2K25. That's all I gotta say.
Hey, with that being said, I mean, hey, if you watched this whole video and the only thing you took out of this was still your brain dead ass mentality and nothing but microtransaction, then hey, all in all, you pretty much gave it up. You've exposed yourself as a shield. But with that being said, to all the real ones, to those who actually have something up there, to those who actually know what common sense is, appreciate y'all. And if you made it this far, make sure you give us a like, give us a sub, comment, and hit the bell to notify for each and every Unsanctioned TV upload. Remember, keep the hashtags going and stay on their neck. And once again, let them know, because that's the only way we're gonna get somewhere with these games. Get some true change, and not the same watered down dog shit WWE games we've had the past 10 years. With that being said, it's Unsanctioned TV, and we out here. One love, God bless, see you in the next one. Peace.
Fuck 2K.
Choice is yours, WGC. Choice is yours. Y'all don't realize how much power we got. Y'all don't realize, but hey, y'all shields.
Y'all don't realize that 2K needs us.
Y'all shields gonna be in for a rude awakening. I'm telling y'all. Keep it up. Y'all think my faction is OP right now? Okay, keep it up. Keep on cheerleading. Keep on parading this game. Keep it up. Keep it up. They got something for your ass. Keep it up.
Y'all should already know now. They laughed at us, bro. You didn't see them laughing emojis? When everybody fucking hated this DLC and they literally put laughing emojis.
They said
the DLC didn't even fucking work when they first got that shit.
They said your ass is a joke. But alright. Keep it up, community.
So hey, they laughed at us when it's time to roll around for 2K25 and they start promoting the game and they put it out pre-orders and everything. They laughed at us. So you know what we need to do? We need to laugh at them. Every fucking video they drop, every video they put out, I don't want to see. Just put laughing emojis. Every post they put on Twitter about 2K25, put laughing emojis. Every YouTube video they drop about 2K25, put laughing emojis, just like they did to us. Nothing but laughing emojis, and do not pre-order the game. Don't buy it. And then we're gonna see what's funny. We're gonna see what's funny then when their pockets is hurting. We're gonna see what's funny when that license gets revoked and they don't get the opportunity to run that shit back. And then we win in the end, because then we're gonna get an actual wrestling game put out by some people that actually possibly, they actually give a shit. Because at this, any other company, because 2K is the only fucking game out here where the game is utterly broken and useless and dead this fucking fast in 2024. The online is cooked. Online is damn near dead in 2024. The gameplay is ass. 2K is the only fucking company where we have these problems when it comes to wrestling games. You put wrestling games in the hands of any other fucking company, I guarantee you that shit is going to be a fucking success. Online is going to work, and the game will be an overall success. But not with 2K. Y'all want to see a change? Show change with your wallets. You want to see a change? Stop giving them change. You know what I'm saying? Stop giving them your money. Stop doing that shit. Don't complain about the game if you're just gonna keep fucking buying it at this point. Yeah, we bought it, but we bought it really for content purposes, to let everybody else know not to buy this shit. We'll take it on the chin. We'll take the L and get 2K25 just so we can see how ass the game is and if it's pretty much a replica of 2K24, and we'll let everybody know and tell everybody to not buy that shit. I will literally put a video. We will literally drop a video out literally day one that shit drops and tell y'all to not buy that game if it's fucking ass. I'll have a video out before that shit comes out that says do not buy. This the first day that 2K puts out any sort of promo for 2K25 on YouTube, I will follow them up the same day with a do not 25 video. I swear to God, at this point. You gotta understand, man. We have a lot of power. Y'all just don't get it. You say, we can't do anything about it, but we really can. And it's called do not buy 2K25. That's what it's called. But y'all ain't gonna do that. Hey, get much more used to 2K and be prepared for 2K going all the way into goddamn 2030 something. As long as y'all want to shield this game away, keep buying it, keep on going, putting your money in my faction and buying the game and all this dumb shit just for 2K to neglect us, laugh at us, and barely give us patches that fix anything. Hey, man, guess what? This is what we're going to be stuck with. We're stuck with this shit as long as y'all allow it to be. But on that note, gonna wrap this shit up, man.
Hey,
y'all know what's good, bro. Fuck 2K.
We said what we had to say. But hey, keep on playing. Just know, when that time comes, and if we get that extension, when you see that picture of Stephanie McMahon, when you see that picture of Triple H, when you see that picture of Ronnie 2K, all in the same room, giving a thumbs up and cheesing for the camera, talking about how they just signed a 10-year new license agreement. Hey, come back to this video and remember what we said. But with that being said, it's Sunstation TV, and we out here. One love, God bless, see you in the next one. Peace. Get it together, WGC.